watching them nonstop, and then 3 days a week or 4 days a week I go to work and I'm watching inmates.
Yeah.
So I go crazy watching other people. You go crazy because you're inside all the time. You're constantly.
Yeah.
I know that I got a job to do.
All right.
You know? I know that those guys are bad guys and they need to be there.
Access granted. Please enter.
My name is John Paul Clements. I was born in Montclair, California, 1981. 32. The pets.
Yeah.
When I was in Iraq, Jen needed stuff, like something to do because we didn't have the kids. And the dogs. Hey, how old are you? 3.
3. Oh, you want to be 4?
When's your birthday? On Halloween.
Oh, how fun.
He's 1. Yes, but he's 18 months now.
Oh, awesome.
18 months and
Almost
she's
there.
almost 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah, they're just a year apart. Good job, dude. So, it's time to put you guys to bed. Let's go, guys. I was a military police officer. They call it 31 Bravo. And I was a military police officer 6 years. I joined at the age of 23. I was a little bit older. I joined because I was trying to be a police officer, and I seen that you get preference points for being in the service. And so I figured I would give it a shot while I was still young, and then come out and use the preference points to get a real job. When I went into the Army, I was a military police officer, and we did some corrections training before we left on my first deployment to Kosovo, and I really did like it. And then I talked to some people that had done it, and so that's what set me off, and I really wanted to do it. I just figured it would be good. So,
How many inmates did you start off with?
you basically after your first 2 weeks training, you get thrown into a housing unit, and you have 150. Do a little bit of walkthrough. You get thrown in there, don't know what's what, and you go and relieve a guy that's been on shift for 8 hours that doesn't want to deal with rookies, and hands you the keys and the cuffs and says, "See you later.
Good luck."
Good luck. If you need help, just press this orange button and they'll come running.
What would you say, when you say like watching people, are you comparing it to, babysitting your kids?
Sometimes, but it's you go crazy because you're inside all the time. You're constantly.
Yeah.
So.
There's freedom here with your children, obviously. Yeah.
Of course. Come in here. It doesn't work. What happened to it?
I know this is an obvious question, but are they your motivation, your family, or is it?
Of course. Sydney, why do I go to work? Do I go to work to pay for this castle? Yeah.
That's awesome. What are your hours? What do they look like?
My hours right now are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And then on Monday, I work 1:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. all night long, baking. And
so that's as a cook.
That's as a cook.
What were your hours like as a correctional officer?
As a correctional officer, it's obviously a 24-hour day job. Their shifts are 8 to 4, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., then 4 p.m. to midnight, and then midnight to 8 in the morning. And then you bid on your current spot, whatever you want. Your first year, though, you are anywhere and everywhere. One night you'll work midnight to 8, and then, you'll have a day off, and then you're working 8 to 4.
Is that disrespect common because of your color or your title?
sometimes, I get inmates to tell me, "Oh, you don't want to hire me because I'm black." Oh, come on, or you don't like working with Mexicans, and I tell them, look, all my crew, I like to mix up my crew, and I actually think the my workers work better than anybody, but they always try to pull, you need to get more black cooks in here. You need to get more. No, 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 no. I hire who I want to hire, and if the person happens to be purple, I could care less too. If the guy's a hard worker and he's purple, guess what?
Yeah.
He's gonna work for me, And being at the prison, you can tell too with staff. I got lucky to get my job. I think I was the token white that got hired. They hired 2 black guys and 1 white guy, and they have to do that to keep everything going, because people will always, oh, you didn't hire me because I was this. You didn't hire me because I was that. So they usually hire, if they're hiring more than one, they'll hire different,
Okay.
just to keep it all squared away. And I just happen to be the token white, and I'm gonna roll with it because it was a $5 raise.
Yeah. What is the most intense experience you have witnessed or been a part of in the prison?
Obviously, I've seen stabbings, inmates get stabbed, but the most recent one was I was working in one of the prisons, and I had turned around and I seen 2 inmates fighting inside the chow hall, and the lieutenant was standing there talking with me because we know each other for 5-6 years. He came in and said what's going on, and I seen it. I turned around and said, "Oh my God!" And I ran over there, and there's 2 Samoans fighting, and he went and got one. I mean, obviously I called it in on the radio, said, "Hey, we got to fight in the chow hall," and I ran and grabbed the other one. I grabbed him and I pulled as hard as I could, tackled him down, and there's all these other inmates just standing around. I mean, you got 500-600 people in the chow hall at one time, and I landed on my shoulder. I sprained my shoulder, and that was the most recent. And then when I was an officer working in the special housing units, there was some brutal things in the special housing units. That's where you get some really bad guys, and they can slip their handcuffs and do whatever they need to do, and it was intense inside a SHU.
How do people react when you tell them you are a correctional officer?
They usually react with a ton of questions. They always want to know what goes on inside. They always want to know, people always hear the inmates are being treated so bad, they're getting abused, they're not fed good, they don't have this, they don't have that. Well, I have news for them. They get fed very well, and they get cable, they get heating and air conditioning, and plenty of clothes, a washer and dryer. They get everything they need inside, and people are amazed to hear that they get all this stuff, and they just have lots of questions all the time.
Has working in a prison changed your view of humanity or society whatsoever?
Yes. Whereas, I work in a prison, you see the scumbags of all scumbags. I mean, there's still drug users in prison. There's still thieves in prison. They don't change because they go into prison. They have to want to change. And when I come out, I find myself, go to the grocery store, and you're like, man, that guy just looks like he came out of prison. Man, that guy's high on meth. Man, that guy, whatever it may be. And you look at society differently, and being inside, you know how they act, and then you come out and you see the guy next to you in the grocery store. So you're kind of, always skeptical, always looking around, always looking for the signs.